Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Talking Real Estate with Champions Real Estate Team, your Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner II, team leader of Champions Real Estate Team. So every Wednesday, if you're a regular follower, we jump on and talk about the real estate market in the Omaha metro area. And as always, joining me is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. So he kind of gives us the insight of what's going on in the mortgage industry and what we can expect and what we're seeing. And we kind of just chat about what's going on in the market. So we'll stick with our similar graphics so that everyone's kind of familiar with those of the numbers. So as we see here, as it pops up on your guys' screen, we have 404 new listings that went live in the last week. We had 242 new contracts. So basically that means pending houses that went under contract. And then we had 284 happy new homeowners this last week. So congratulations to them. That 400 number, that's kind of the most we've seen since right after, I think, the second week in January. So basically after everyone got done with the holidays and let's get the houses on the market. And I think now that the weather's getting nicer, we're seeing another push, which is great. Contracts is down just a little bit from the previous week. We were about that's probably the lowest number we've had since literally the same, which is kind of funny. We had in January 11th, we had basically a similar situation where we were the lowest number of new contracts written and the highest number of new listings. So that's kind of interesting in a 1 month swing there. But yeah, so as we're seeing that we talked about last week is basically we still saw a lot of houses coming on the market, but they're going off just as quick. So people are, the media and the newspapers and everything are saying, oh my God, we have low inventory. There's no inventory out there. Well, there is inventory. It just doesn't stay on the market very long, maybe a weekend, just depending on the price point. But yeah, let's take a look at the 30,000 foot view of the entire multiple listing service, which is Omaha and Lincoln. And actually, they just put up a proposal to join or merge, I guess, with the Fremont Board of Realtors and the MLS. So pulling all those Fremont listings in there as well, which we do have some listings in Fremont in the Omaha Lincoln MLS, but that's another thing that's coming down the pipeline for everybody. But anyways, we're just under 2,000 active listings in the Omaha Lincoln MLS, narrowing it down in the Omaha metro area, about 1,163 in the Douglas-Sarpy County. Existing homes, we got over that 300 existing home mark. Last week we were just, I think, at 290 something. Let me pull that back up where we at. Yeah, 294. So just kind of still stagnant there. And then we had 860 new construction listing months of inventory. Is at 2.6. So we're just still in a little bit of a seller's market, which I think will probably stay there going in. And we're just still about that 319, 315 average sold price. So yesterday I do quarterly CMAs, market analysis for all my clients and friends and family. And so I send those out obviously before the Chiefs Super Bowl, get those out there so people can look at them. But the one thing I was noticing, I send out a trend graphics report with that in the mail to my clients. And it was kind of funny seeing the graph of the months of inventory just go crazy, even though it was like, 0.5, 0.9, and then it was like 2, and it looked like the graph just looked huge going into that November, December, and then now we're kind of coming back down again. But I just thought that was interesting. We hadn't seen that in a while, but just as far as the inventory, and that's kind of obviously correlating with the interest rates that spiked, and people kind of put the brakes on to see what was going to happen through that process of it. So, but if you do want to get on that mailing list, give me a holler, shoot me a text, email me, your phone number or your address. I'm happy to send those out. I send those out every quarter. So that way you can kind of keep a track of what's going on in the market. I actually had one of my past clients, reach out to me because I sent them out. And also our home bot that kind of gives a valuation. And she just bought her house a year and a half ago. And she's like, hey, am I at my 20% mark to drop my private mortgage insurance? And I, did the research and did the analysis on it. And there's some houses that are selling right about where she would need that value to come in. And I'm like, you know what, let's wait through the spring market into the summer. And, maybe this fall we can revisit it because I'm guessing some prices are going to go up a little bit because she only needs about a $5,000 maybe buffer to drop that off. And that can save you a couple $100 on your mortgage insurance. So that's something too, that why I send those out every quarter is that way you say what's going on with your houses. Some people check their stocks on a regular basis. Most people don't necessarily check the valuation and see how much capital or how much equity or cash, all three are the same, there's in your house. And then ultimately, if you purchased a house in the last couple of years under that 20% down number, you may be at that 20% in equity to drop that mortgage insurance premium, because the lender's not going to tell you until they had that date that it's going to fall off when they projected it to fall off in a couple of years. But if the market does well, get that thing to, get off of there and save yourself. So I'm happy to do any of that research with you and give you that information to just give you my opinion. Like my client, I was like, hey, let's just wait till spring. I think she needed to get like 285, roughly on her house to get that number. And I was right around that ballpark, but it just depends on the updates of the houses and everything. So I just said, hey, let's wait. I'm hoping there'll be a couple more, comparable homes out there that'll push that up. So if she has to have that an appraisal come out, or even a broker's point opinion, a BPO, broker price opinion. And that way the lender, so each lender is a little bit different. So you have to reach out to your lender and say, hey, what do I need to do to get my PMI dropped off? So yeah, other than that, I mean, the market's, kind of similar to what we were last week. We're still seeing some multiple offers in certain price points and that lower price point, particularly, and then up in that 400 and up, it's a little bit slower, not as crazy, but I mean, obviously the ones that are updated and ready to rock and roll, those may be getting some of those multiple offers, not the crazy numbers that we were seeing last year, 15, 20, but it's very competitive out there. So let's jump in with Russ here and kind of see what's going on in the mortgage industry. So how are we doing today, Russ?
We're doing pretty well. Mortgage rates are actually up just a little bit from where they were last week. We're actually seeing interest rates closer to where they were about a month ago. And a significant reason for that was last Friday, the non-farm payroll report, which comes from the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics, showed that there were in the range of 500,000 new jobs created. The interesting thing about that report is that it's an algorithm. If you start to break the algorithm down, there was a tremendous adjustment for the month of January that may actually suggest that the number of job creations were actually closer to the 100,000 mark. And the result of what happened, Mark, is that anytime you have more jobs, that typically means that people are going to spend more money, and that's the demand feature. And so that risk of increased demand can put upward pressure on mortgage rates. As we move through the rest of this month, next week we have two big reports that measure inflation both at the wholesale and retail levels. And if those numbers continue to come in like they have the last several months, we'll continue to see inflationary pressures moderate, and that should get the interest rates again starting to trickle back downwards, which is a very good thing. That's what we're kind of expecting. But having said that, we're continuing, just like you had mentioned, we're seeing a lot of multiple offer situations. So in the event that you're thinking about buying a home, you definitely need to get in touch with Mark's team right away to put together a plan and a strategy. This looks like it's going to be another year where you may be competing with lots of other buyers out there. And so you need to make sure you have a good game plan. It's not as simple as just simply putting in an offer on a property and winning the bid. You actually have to have a plan in order to secure that property. So interest rates, again, expected to moderate throughout the year, Mark, kind of like what we've been saying. And so we expect that trend will continue, but your buyers need to have a plan, and your sellers, chances are they're selling a property and needing to go somewhere else. They need to have a plan as well. So make sure you reach out to Mark and his team.
Yep, absolutely. Happy to help. We'd love to sit down and chat with you via Zoom, in person, over the phone, and kind of just get a good game plan for you, whether you're buying or selling, in that process of it. So yeah, I mean, we love to educate you, and some of those clients I even have conversations with that, just keeping your house makes sense and pulling that equity out, cash out, refi it, keep that house as an investment property for you. That's one of those things I'm very, very bullish on as far as that, the real estate aspect of it, that investment side to keep that. But, that's just some of those, some agents may just say, hey, let's put a sign in the yard, let me get my commission and rock it out. And thank you very much and move on to the next one. But, if we can keep that house for you to build that generational wealth and get some of that passive income stream, we can go over the pros and cons with all of that with you. So, but I'm happy to help. Love chatting with any of my clients or prospective clients and what we can do to help you out. So appreciate everyone listening to us. So if you can like, subscribe, comment on any of our social media platforms. We'd love to chat with you. If there's anything you want us to cover, we're willing to cover anything real estate, investing, buying, selling, and what's going on the mortgage side of it. So, but anyways, appreciate it, and have a great rest of the week, and go Chiefs this weekend, right? A big Super Bowl. So
go Chiefs.
It'll be a good one. So take care, and I will